Industry and consumers are seeking increasingly responsible use of scarce and environmentally harmful petroplastics. For this purpose, Compolytics research is investigating approaches on how plastic can be avoided effectively and efficiently, for example through substitute technologies. Latest studies can make a further contribution to the state of research, and Compolytics now presents its newest peer-review paper under the following title: How Regulatory Measures Towards Bio-Based Packaging Influence the Strategic Behavior of the Retail Industry. A micro-empirical study. This study reports on a survey of experts on the subject of plastic tax. The aim was to find out their views on the topic and how they would handle the additional costs in their business. In particular, it asked how much of the tax would be passed on via prices. Get more information about the paper content from the abstract now. Environmental damage from plastic packaging can be avoided by using bio-based substitute materials. To achieve this, the costs for plastic must first be increased in order to make these alternatives attractive in terms of price. This paper reports on a study dealing with regulatory measures to mitigate the waste problem from an economic point of view. It discusses the results of a choice-based experiment with 253 industrial decision-makers from the German food and technics retail segment. Regulatory scenarios, such as PIGU tax on plastic packaging or product labeling about environmental impact, were specified as a means to avoid market failure. And the attitude of the respondents were measured. The data analysis showed that the additional costs of switching to biomaterials are more likely to be passed on to the market by SMEs in the form of price increases, and that quality reductions tend to be considered by the food industry. Hence, large companies and the technical goods traders showed a tendency to be prepared to bear part of the change costs. The packaging weight was favored by the majority as the basis for taxation, and it was proposed to indicate the packing CO2 emissions using a traffic light scheme. Finally, it was found that trading companies in general had only a small influence on the packaging properties of their suppliers' products. From this it can be concluded that impulses for plastic avoidance should rather be set by government regulatory instruments than by self-regulation on the part of the retail industry, which, however, with an average of 30% plastic recycling in packaging, is already making a significant contribution to avoidance. Finally, it is recommended that economic explanatory models should integrate the variables, company size and product category, for reliable economic predictions. This article is published in the Elsevier Journal of Cleaner Production, Volume 260, July 2020. The author is Dr. Daniel Friedrich.